they send me to Permanent Party. That's where you go do the rest of your 4 years or whatever you got left, you know, on left to do for your service period. And they call it uh, a 4 year term. It's not a 4 year term, but I forgot the term they use, but I'm gonna use just a 4 year uh, uh, tour, a 4 year tour uh, of duty, active duty. And so after going, this, so they sent me to Colorado Springs, Colorado, Fort Carson, Colorado. Oh, it's so beautiful up there. You know, seeing the Rocky Mountains and the snow-capped mountains, and it was just so beautiful, man. And that's where the Olympic Training Center is at too. Where all the Olympians go to train is in Colorado Springs too, as well. Such a beautiful place, and and I I started out pretty decent, you know, checking the city out, small little town, and oh, I guess my favorite uh, thing that I did while I was in Colorado Springs was to ride up Pikes Peak Mountain. We had generators and kegs of beer. We rode up in the mountain, and they got throughout the mountain. They got little spots you can hang out and cook and do your thing. They got gazebos up there, you know, with a little shed, shelter. You can bring a generator, you know. But the coolest part about it, you know, most of the gazebos, with the way they are positioned, they're closer. They're close enough to the Rocky Mountain spring, you know, so you can go take your keg of beer over there and drop it into the spring and keep it cool. You know, I thought that was so cool. Way out in nature, up in the mountain. You got a keg of beer in the Rocky Mountain Spring. You got the generator going. You got your music. You got the grills going, you know. And then there's other parts you can just go look over the cliff. And man, that's death drop. You know, there ain't no rail. You can just walk to the edge and look down. That's a death drop. I didn't walk to the edge. I, You can call me what you want. I crawled to the edge. I wasn't gonna let no gush of wind blow me over the edge, me trying to be curious. You know, just so happened a gush of wind come and just give me a nudge and I'm falling, you know, thousands of feet down to my death. No, that wasn't happening. So I crawled, looked down, I looked all the way down there, man. Man, that was a very scary sight. And no railings. We got, you know what I'm saying? I mean, shoot, man, that was crazy, man. But it was beautiful, man. It was free, you know. It was freedom, you know. It's, you just got to go there and go up in the mountains and see the Rocky Mountain Springs and the gazebos and put your granite generator and your beers and stuff like that. You just got to go up there and do it in order to really experience the mountaineer life. Mountaineer life ain't like no other life. It ain't like it's totally different from the flatlands, you know, from which most of us live in, this in the cities and stuff like that. The flatlands, the rural America and all, most of them is flatlands. But the mountaineers, they live up in the mountains. Man, it's so beautiful up there, boy. It's so beautiful up there. That's a whole nother type of living. A whole nother type of living, man. But unfortunately, man, it didn't work out for me, man. You know, I start having problems with male authority figures telling me what to do every day and salute. Every time I turn around, I got to throw a salute. You know, it just, you know, it just got the best of me, I must admit. And I just stopped saluting and I stopped participating. I wanted to get out. I couldn't handle it. You know, I just couldn't do it. So a guy from my unit, he kind of seen, you know, the direction that I was going in. And he gave me a booklet on administrative discharges. You see, I said, he said, hey, young man, I see you trying to get yourself kicked out, man. But you don't want to get a dishonorable discharge. Why don't you take this book and read this book? You know, these are all the infractions that you could do to get administrative discharge, which would be other than honorable. It won't be honorable, but it'll be other than honorable, but it won't be a dishonorable. So I looked in the book. I just, okay. I looked pretty much on the right track as what the behavior that I was demonstrating. However, I was getting angry and angrier, and the thoughts were going across my mind to assault one of those persons because I was getting fed up and getting tired of them confronting me about not saluting, not doing this, not doing this. And I was getting fed up. So the thought of assaulting one of those to get out, I was on that thought pattern. Had it not been for this guy in my unit seeing what I was doing and enlightened me on a different route to get the same results, you know, I probably, you know, would have gotten that shameful, dishonorable discharge. And I'm thankful to that individual today, you know, even though I don't get maximum benefits, I get the bare minimum that I can get, but it's better than nothing. But had it not been for that guy in my units, you know, giving me some good advice on which way on various types of discharges you can get to save face somewhat. I thank him today. I mean, I really appreciate that. And so they eventually released me and allowed me to go with administrative discharge. Now, mind you, you know, you've already pretty much heard my backstory already. I was pretty much mentally disturbed and emotionally disturbed, you know, and I had some mental distortions that I didn't realize I had at the time, and it was getting the best of me, the better part of me, and the military never gave me a psych evaluation. They just let me go. But years later, when I did my research on the upgrade, I realized they said one of the policies were that they're supposed to give you a psychological evaluation before they let you go. They're not supposed to just throw you out on the street, you know, without giving you a psychological evaluation first. They never did that. Quite naturally, I was going through some stuff. I was acting out. Obviously, I had some problems, but they didn't give me that opportunity. So I missed that as well. So, but nevertheless, I did achieve my results of them releasing me. And so when they released me, I went back home. And I hung around for a while. About, I don't know, maybe, 5 or 6 months, maybe. I hung around. But the same old feeling. The same old feeling that caused me to leave in the first place. It's creeping back up on me again. I said, man, I'm not learning nothing. Ain't no real love. I ain't really feeling no real love, man. You know when somebody love you, man, you can feel that, man. You can feel real love, man. You can feel it. You know, you can't feel nothing you can fake, man. Even though people be trying to fake, hey, hi, ho, hey. It don't resonate with the soul. You hear me? It don't resonate with the soul. Real love resonates with the soul within because it's coming from a soulful place and it's being projected toward a soulful place and being received like that. So I wasn't feeling it. I was just the same old thoughts and feelings was coming up. Like I said, that caused me to leave in the first place, man. And after 4, 5, 6 months, man, I said, I got to get up out of here, man. I ain't learning nothing. I ain't growing. Ain't nobody really teaching me nothing. I ain't learning nothing. I'm still confused. I still don't know nothing. I think around that time, I even tried to go to the community college. And I went to the community college and LCC. I went to the community college and they, how you have to take entry exams and stuff like that just to see where you at, so they can determine whether or not you might need some remedial courses or whatever, So I can recall 2 incidents that discouraged me from continuing my college experience. The first was after I did my entry exam, it was determined that I needed some some writing, some remedial writing a remedial writing class. And also that I needed a tutor. So I remember going to the tutor's office, meeting the tutor one time. And the tutor had me to write something. So just write something, write a 1-page essay or, a couple paragraphs. Let me see how you write. Now, of course, I wasn't thinking about the subject of what I was writing about. Excuse me. I was thinking more about the grammar, the punctuations, the periods, the commas, explanation points, stuff like that. Dash mark, colon, semicolon. I'm thinking about question marks, stuff like that. I'm thinking about that. And so my content was Dick and Jane. Dick said this to Jane and then, because I'm trying to just put my periods and stuff, my grammar in the right, but I ain't thinking about the content. Of course, I wouldn't know how to write an essay anyway. I never wrote an essay, So, very limited education. I passed my GED barely in the youth home, as I stated earlier. So when I got done, I passed it to my tutor, and she started laughing at me, but she wasn't laughing. Even though she was laughing while she was reading my writing, but it was to me that my writing is me. So you laughing at me, and I felt so little. I was so embarrassed, man, that I was on a Dick and Jane level in college. It really hurt me, emotionally, in a very embarrassing way. Here's this grown man still talking elementary school, Dick and Jane content. And by her laughing at me was very piercing, to say the least. emotionally. So I kind of sucked that up a little bit, you know. But what really got me, you know, was because one of my class was child psychology. I can remember that. I can't remember the other classes that I took, but I know my problem writing was definitely one, because my entry exam had determined that I needed remedial writing, so I had a writing class. I know that, and I had a child psychology class, and this Oriental woman taught this child psychology class, and one day in class, she decided to speak about the intelligent level of different races. And she said, well, white people are smarter, and then the Oriental people are smarter, and then, I don't know, she might have mentioned 3 or 4 other races, but she put us at the end, black people at the bottom, you know. And I felt some kind of way about that. I really did. I felt some kind of way about it. But what angered me the most, that I wasn't intelligent enough to defend my position and how I felt. So I stood mute. But I can recall white kids defending